As an association, we decided to have a speaker from time to time. Today, we have Julie Tran with us from CAR, Governmental Affairs Representative. She is giving us a brief legislative update. Julie, please come.
I guess I'll stay here to stay in the camera here. Can everybody see me okay?
Yeah.
I just like to make eye contact with everybody. Makes it more personal. Good morning. I am here from your CAR Government Affairs team. And I'm sure you've heard this one before, but we are basically the people that you hired to protect you from the people that you elected. Okay? So that's who we are. And we've been doing a lot of that this year. This has been a very busy and interesting year. But first, I want to start off with a little pop quiz. Does anyone remember what state actually enacted the very first real estate licensing law in the U.S.? It was California, yes. And what year was it enacted? The law?
1918.
Really close.
1919.
1919. Yes, Sylvia. Yes, Madam President. Madam President-elect. It was 1919, almost 100 years ago. And because California was really the leader in that, we have been the leader in the real estate industry in the nation ever since. CAR was actually formed before that. We formed as a group of 70 realtors across the state who wanted to take the MLS and make it more accountable to the general public, right? And so here we are. We have really taken the technological advent and really stepped forward in front of it. We're the only industry that has survived all the advents of apps and bringing things online and really holding strong. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you for being experts in your field. Okay? So this year, I want to go over a couple of legislative highlights. It's been, as I said, a very interesting year. Why? Because we have a brand new administration in our federal government, and we have a lot of moving parts when it comes to the budget. Okay, California will be looking at a loss of revenue from the federal government when it comes to our housing programs. And that is because they're trying to balance their budgets. They're going to be slashing a lot of HUD programs that goes into the development of more supply, of more affordable housing in California. And that really is what we're concerned about as an association and as a state as well. Bad news is because our housing industry here is so robust, a lot of politicians, a lot of lawmakers are going to be looking at the real estate industry for sources of revenue when they're trying to find a way to balance their budget here. Does everyone kind of agree with that? Yeah. So one of the ways they tried to do that this year was to attack our MID, our mortgage interest deduction, which everyone has remembered. You answered the red alert for, right? Raise your hand if you called your assembly member or senator for AB 71, the mortgage interest deduction. Thank you. Thank you for your work, really, because we were able to defeat that bill for the entirety of the year. So that is a huge victory, okay? Because this is the more important thing. Not only did we preserve the MID for the state, we sent a clear message to Washington that California, the largest housing market in the nation, would not stand to have our MID slashed on the federal level as well. Okay. And so that message was loud and clear. NAR has taken that and ran with it when it comes to lobbying the lawmakers in Congress when they're developing this budget too. So that is another side to this coin that we have really contributed to. Okay. So the other huge fight that we had this year was regarding the stormwater tax. And I'm not going to dance around the subject. It is a fight that we lost, okay? The stormwater tax, who's unfamiliar with the bill? SB 231. Okay, this was the bill that was introduced by Senator Hertzberg from this area, to basically redefine the word sewer, okay? So normally, when there is a new tax in California, 2/3 of voters need to vote on it. This bill seeks to redefine the word sewer to include stormwater so that voters don't have to vote on this new tax. Exactly. And it was an attempt to levy fees on you without your knowledge. And so CAR and all of our partners in California really got behind this issue and tried our best to defeat it. All of the politicians that we focused our attention on either abstained from voting on the bill or voted no on it. Senator Hertzberg, during the legislative break in August, when our legislators came home, he pulled IOUs. He found one Republican in the Bay Area to switch his vote. And so the bill made it through the legislature with 41 votes, and that was the absolute lowest vote it needed to get through. It is now on the governor's desk. And let me explain why this bill is so bad, too. If your local governments were able to levy these fees on you for stormwater infrastructure projects, your annual property tax bill would increase by an average of $1,500 a year. And that is without your even consenting to it. And that's why it was such a huge issue for us. And we had our realtors mobilize on it. We had people call, and people were able to convince their legislators to not vote on this bill. But as I said, we found one person that we thought never would have voted for this, who switched his vote, okay? So now we're talking to the governor. It is still on his desk. This bill has still been pending for 2.5 weeks now. He's been reluctant to sign this because it does mean a new tax for our homeowners. It does mean a new tax for your clients without their consent. And so the governor is going to have to make a lot of really hard decisions because, as you do remember, in California, we just passed the gas tax, okay? We just passed cap and trade. A lot of politicians are very gun-shy about a new tax. And that is the leverage that we have. We're going to be using that against the governor to let him know his constituents will be very unsatisfied if this were to be signed into law. And so we'll keep you posted on that progress. We're really hoping that we're able to convince the governor to veto this bill. And that's our really last chance. In regards to the rest of the taxes that were passed in California, the legislature just closed last week for the year. What a nice work schedule they have, right? They work about 50 weeks, and that's it. But they're home now, and they sent the governor about 160 bills to sign. A lot of that does have to do with your industry, with the housing industry. A lot of it has to do with raising the supply of housing in California. And we're taking good steps towards that. Now I want to go through some bills that are considered part of the housing package in California. That's the package that, the legislature has agreed would help move the economy forward when it comes to increasing supply, therefore driving down, costs of living for people, and making our economy more robust. People are going to, buy and sell the same houses for as long as they can before they just throw up their hands and move out of the state, right? And that's what we want to prevent. So the housing package has a couple of components. The large piece of it to increase the development throughout the state is SB 35, Senate Bill 35 by Senator Scott Wiener in San Francisco, okay? Now, a lot of laws already existing in California already has goals for local governments to develop more housing in their areas. A lot of local governments aren't meeting those goals. Therefore, SB 35 is aimed at that incentivization. SB 35 would basically create a streamlined by right approval process for development of new units within urban infills. Urban infills means any area that has higher density than the area outside of it, right? So that if there are, parking lots or abandoned strip malls that can be converted, that would be considered an urban infill, okay? So we're aiming to make it easier to convert those areas into habitable residences. The bill does have some caveats for developers when getting the streamlined process, such as it has to have at least 2/3 be dedicated to residential use. So it could be mixed use, and that's where a lot of developers are going to find, the incentivized money, income to develop it. But they do have to have 2/3 for residences and about 20% to affordable housing in that same structure. So that is what is going to create a streamlined process for them to get through and get their projects approved. So that's going to be a major step, and I do want you to be aware of this bill. It is still pending. The whole housing package is still pending at the governor's desk, but there's a very good chance he's going to sign it because it is a step forward to make sure that we do everything we can to increase housing supply, which is the real ultimate issue here, okay? The other big bill is going to aim to fund programs to build affordable workforce ownership occupied housing. So that means houses that you actually buy and sell, right? That is SB 2. Now SB 2 has been a point of contention even within our realtor groups, and I understand that. We're going to talk about this right here. It is a $75 fee on the recording of real estate documents, but it excludes any documents that are included in your real estate transaction. So if you're buying and selling a property, any of those documents will not incur the fee. And I want to make that very clear. In a transaction, this fee will not apply, okay? It will apply when you have a deed transfer, a title transfer, refinances will incur this cost. And so I do want to make that very crystal clear because that was one of the major amendments that CAR fought for in order to be able to support this bill. And before any of you guys say, oh, why are we, supporting this extra fee on our clients? This bill has been reintroduced for 3 years. It has been in the making. This bill has been introduced by then Assembly Speaker Toni Atkins, and she is now our senator. And it has been in the making for many years, and it's going to happen. Our best bet was to make sure that we excluded real estate transactions, and we capped it at $225, okay? And all of that money actually goes into the Housing Trust Fund that is overseen by a board comprised of people from our real estate industry to make sure that money is being used correctly. Okay, so that is why we're behind SB 2. If anyone has any concerns, please let me know, because I know this is a hard selling point, even within our realtor groups. But it is a way for us to be able to put our skin in the game. Because before this, we were the party that said no, 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 no tax increases, no nothing. Now we have to put something into the game, and this is one of the ways we're going to do that, to increase the supply of housing that you can buy and sell for your clients in California, okay? Any questions on that? Yes, sir.
You say it's going to go to a special fund. Is it guaranteed that it won't go into the governor's general fund?
That is absolutely correct. It will not go into the general fund because we know that is a black hole.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that is one of the major amendments that we fought for as well. It goes into a housing trust fund. It goes into development of residences, not highways, not roads, residences. Okay? Any other questions on that?
When does it take effect?
If signed, it will take effect next year.
January 1st.
January 1st, yes. Okay, well, we'll move on. I want to make sure everyone is aware. We have a legislative liaison program with CAR, and this is the way that you're going to be first informed of major legislative updates out of our department, and I will be taking over that program to revamp it. We are going to make sure you're receiving content you can share. That means infographics, videos, images, things that you'll want to repost, things that you'll want to read. And so the program is going to be a lot more effective, and it's going to provide you with the same kind of updates I just gave you. So if you want to sign up for that, please just give me your business card. I'll make sure that you'll receive those updates, and it's not too many. It's about 1 or 2 emails a month, okay? So if there are no other questions, thank you so much for your time, and have a great Caravan.